So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the 5 things that I've been learning since being an amateur photographer. So I would call myself more of a professional with therapy, but I wouldn't necessarily say I am with photography. I kind of blend the two of them. But I have learned lots of things since, starting my photography journey. And I want to put these 5 out there for people who are just starting off with photography and are trying to get their feet wet in it and maybe don't know what to do. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is gear. With gear, it'll help you take great photos. So for instance, I started off with just my phone. I started off just taking photos in Yosemite National Park with a Galaxy phone, I believe I had. And these are some of the pictures I got. I ended up taking pictures of friends, rock climbing, my wife rock climbing, hiking trips that we would take, all kinds of different things, just life in the park and living there in general. And I got some of my favorite pictures just using my phone and taking great photos. And that phone, I think, for the time, took really good photos. People, when I posted on Instagram, really liked it, and I always got good feedback from people because of it. And the phone really helped me to not care too much about the settings that I was using and really just let me focus on what I was taking a picture of. It was obviously super lightweight, so I could take a photo anywhere I was. I didn't have to worry about hauling something up the trail with me. Even if I would have had like a Canon like R5 III, Sony A1, whatever it is that we have nowadays, even if I had that amazing camera, it doesn't mean I would have taken any better of a shot than I was taking back then, because those were the shots I knew to take. So no matter what gear I had, I would have gotten the same composition. I would have had a higher quality picture, in terms of megapixels and stuff, and I could have done more with editing if I wanted to, of having a raw file, but the camera itself wasn't going to get me a better composition or framing. Don't just buy all the amazing gear, because what's gonna happen is when you are starting off with photography, you're gonna have a lot of fun buying gear for photography because you think it's all gonna be helping you become a better photographer or videographer. And then it gets even more fun when you find your niche. And then it gets even more fun when you find a new niche. And it just never stops being fun buying gear. But over time, you at least can, make it more specific to the niche that you have for yourself. So the next thing I would talk about is what I was just somewhat talking about before, which is how you take a photo. There are technical ways that are good to take a photo. So for instance, you want the exposure to be good. You want to be able to see what you're taking a photo of and it not just be completely black or completely white. You don't always want typically your highlights blown out or your shadows too dark. There are some of these things that you want to be careful with, but at the same time, having blown out highlights can make a image look really cool, and it can actually maybe make the focus of it way better because that's the image you want. Or maybe you do want it to be super dark and moody and you don't want a lot of detail to be shown. Just know that in the beginning, every photo to you is gonna be a good photo and you're gonna love it. And then over time, you're gonna get picky. You're gonna become discontent that photos aren't good enough for you. And then you're gonna hit a moment where you say, why do I care? I just wanna have fun taking photos of things again. And that's when your creativity is gonna start to bloom a lot more, when you start breaking down rules and then rebuilding things back up again in the way that fits you best. That's when you're gonna thrive. So take all the photos, have fun with it, get discontent a little bit, push through that, and then rebuild, for yourself and not just what everyone else does. The third thing I wanna talk about is just the quality of photos that you take. So for instance, that's gonna be really subjective. And this kind of piggybacks again on what I was just talking about, which is the subjectiveness of what you think is a quality photo is gonna change. So when I was first talking about gear, I said I was using my phone and I had 8 megapixels in those photos sometimes. And you maybe wouldn't get good sharpness, or maybe when you zoomed in on the photos, things were blurry or pixelated. However, some of the best photos we have from history aren't the highest megapixel and sharp and most detailed pictures in the world. And I would also challenge you as a part of this to change your expectations of what you want a quality photo to be. So like I said in the beginning, it might have been composition. but then it might be a compelling story. Maybe you don't care about compelling stories. Maybe you're just trying to sell things on Shutterstock or on some other platform, and so you want to get the best general photo that someone would like. Maybe you're trying to sell these photos to a newspaper or to a magazine. You have to figure out what is a quality photo to you and what does that mean, and let that be your expectation for the photo itself. If you're just someone who wants to take photos of friends and family, it's gonna be capturing moments. It's gonna be capturing people having fun or being sad or talking to one another. Like, those are gonna be what makes a photo a quality photo, not necessarily that it was exposed perfectly or you had the perfect angle. So I would ask you to examine your expectations of your photography and what you're expecting of it. And then when you reapproach it with a different expectation, I think you'll be happier with your photos. So the fourth thing that I would encourage you guys to do is to examine your lifestyle, like manage your life a little bit better. So I'm a therapist, so I have a job that I have to work. I also just had a baby. I have a wife. I have friends. I have responsibilities in my life that I have to take care of. And photography is not my main thing that I do. It's just something I like to do for fun. And you also have to kind of get out of that feeling of being discontent with the fact that you can't do photography all the time. You know, it's probably a nice escape. It's just really fun in general to do. But you're probably not a pro photographer in the sense that it's your full-time job and that's what you do all the time. And then the final bit of advice I would give from things that I have learned is to remember why you started photography. And I think this could actually kind of help everything else that I've talked about too. It could help with the gear stuff, how you're taking photos, the quality of your photos, you know, you're escaping from things and your priorities of stuff. I think this could help it. I was on a hike the other day and I was really discontent with the hike because I wasn't finding good photo opportunities. I was walking around trying to find good waterfalls and other just really pretty things, but there was like hardly any water running through the creeks, and every waterfall I came to, there was either nothing there or it just wasn't that nice or pretty, and I couldn't get a photo in a nice way. I didn't have a good gear setup, so like I forgot my tripod. I didn't have an ND filter to get a nice long exposure of the waterfall that I would want, and a lot of things just weren't working out well for me. And then I just had a moment where I thought to myself, like, why am I not enjoying this hike I'm on? I love hiking. Hiking and rock climbing and canoeing and things like that are the whole reason why I wanted to start bringing a camera out into the woods with me and doing this stuff on adventures, was to capture these really great moments. I thought back to Yosemite. I thought back to my childhood of hiking with my grandparents out at their cabin in a state park and realizing that, oh yeah, these were fun moments that I got to capture. And those are the things that I want to use my camera for and my gear for. So that was really helpful for me because I then realized, okay, there are a lot of gear that I don't need. There's a lot of stuff I don't need to waste my time and money on. And there's a lot of places I don't have to worry about traveling to just yet because I'm gonna get to do that with my family one day or friends. And that's whenever I'm gonna capture those memories, and that's when it's gonna be even more exciting for me. I would ask you to re-examine your life, re-examine why you started photography. If it was to just get out there by yourself and take photos of really beautiful places, then do that. Realize that that's why you're doing it, and reshape and restructure why you're wanting to do it. If you're selling images on the internet, if you are selling them to like companies or whatever else, then restructure for that. But if you are kind of like me and are just a day-to-day guy, you know, an average Joe who is using this as a hobby, then really re-examine things. And I think that will really help you in your life to feel more content with what's going on and to change things to make them better for yourself and for your lifestyle. So thank you guys very much for tuning in to this. I hope that it had a nice therapeutic feel as well to go along with my theme of this channel. I'm gonna actually probably do a video for each one of these subjects, especially with like the gear and some of the quality photo stuff, to really help you guys recognize how to have a more in-depth idea of how to do that type of stuff, especially from that more personalized therapeutic feel. There's obviously tons of YouTube videos out there where they talk about this type of stuff from professional photographers. So that's what you want. You know, there's obviously all those people out there, but if you want to see it from my point of view and how I'm taking it, I would encourage you guys to subscribe to this channel, share it with others who might find this interesting, so that way we can get the therapeutic photography bug out there for people. And I really hope you have a really great day, and thank you very much. See you guys.